as we start every show, we talk about the defect of the week. So the defect of the week this week... As far as our defect of the week, the first one is going to be talking about non-professional craftsmanship. Non-professional craftsmanship. What does that mean to you, Bill?
I think it's weekend mechanic, weekend electrician. Watch the YouTube video. Now I'm an expert.
DIY was a common three-letter acronym that gets used a lot. Do it yourself. There are some things that it's okay to do yourself in your home, but there are other things that it's not. When it comes to DIY, there are some things that I would recommend you never DIY without proper knowledge, okay? And this is important because these are safety things. These are things where people can die. You can burn down your house. You can blow yourself up or electrocute yourself and send yourself to the hospital, okay? So there are things that we recommend you not mess with, okay? Number one is gas. Anything with gas. I wouldn't do anything.
Write that down.
Write that down. Don't mess with gas. Any type of gas, propane, anything like that. You end up with a minorly loose connection because you thought it was tight. You didn't smell anything or whatever, and you went about your way. And then later on that night, you and your wife are sitting around the kitchen table, which we've heard stories of this. People are just sitting around watching TV or whatever, and all of a sudden, poof, and the walls knock out or whatever, and the whole inside of the house is engulfed in flame. Granted, usually momentarily because the flame happens so...
It's like a flash.
Yeah, it's a flash burn. It happens so quickly, and it usually goes out real quickly, but it can cause a lot of injury or death in the event that kind of thing occurs. And gas is not something to mess with. So even if you're just hooking up your stove, if you're hooking up a water heater or whatever that may be, you want to make sure that you have a perfectly tight connection there. And if you don't know how to do that properly, you can cause a lot of damage or personal injury. So I'd avoid gas. Okay, anything with gas, I would probably leave to the professionals. Also, if something happens or whatever, they're there. They can correct it. They can fix it. And if something catastrophic happens, they have insurance. Whether your insurance covers stupidity or not, I have no idea. But it's something that you probably don't want to mess with. Okay. The next one is dealing with electrical. So when it comes to electricity, there are things that are okay to do on your own. Putting in a light, replacing an outlet. Sure. Going in your electrical panel, as soon as you take a screw off that electrical panel downstairs, you just made a mistake, okay? Because inside that electrical panel is 240 volts at 200 amps or 100 amps, whatever you have in your house, and one touch of your screwdriver to the wrong thing, and it could send you to the hospital or send you to the Never Never Land where you don't come back again. It's not really something to play around with, okay? So going to your electrical panel, you really need to know exactly what you're doing, okay? If you're going to replace a light, you're going to replace an outlet, you're going to put a GFCI in, your wife wants fancy landscape lighting outside, whatever it may be.
Put a dimmer switch in.
Yeah,
I got a little tickle once, and my father-in-law really picked on me for that.
Yeah, you can get a tickle, but you can also get a good shock too. In all honesty, when it comes to electricity, 1 milliamp passing across your heart, okay, from your finger touching it to touching something else, 1 milliamp passing across your heart can give you a heart attack. Really? Yep. And so not something to mess around with. But when it comes to electrical work or whatever, you want to get an electrical sniffer. So it's a little thing, you push the button on it or whatever, and it tells you if there's electricity there or not. That's the only way to guarantee that there's no electricity in that area or not. You can go down to the breaker, you read on the breaker panel, it says bedroom, upstairs bedroom, and you flip it off.
You think it's the only thing that's controlling it, and there's something more.
Yeah, there's something else, and at that point you go up there and you start working on it, and then you find out that breaker was labeled improperly, or it was wiring for something else, or whatever it may be. Okay, not worth taking the risk. Lots of times when we're at a home and we see improper gas connections or improper electrical work or improper construction period, like somebody building a bathroom and putting an electrical panel in it, not allowed because it's not allowed by code and safety and all these other types of reasons. But when you don't know what you're doing, you don't know what you're doing wrong at the same time. And so you can screw up a lot of stuff. And this person had spent, what do you spend remodeling a bathroom these days? 20 grand?
30 G's.
Yeah, easily, right?
Doesn't take much.
Doesn't take much. And now they have this electrical panel in their $30,000 bathroom that they spent or whatever and didn't get a building permit for whatever. And now we either have to pay $6 grand to move the electrical panel, or this is no longer a bathroom and you wasted $30,000
because it's a big code violation.
Yeah. And with electrical panels, you can only move them a certain distance away from where the entrance comes into the home and all that kind of stuff. 10 feet is normally the limitation. But you can make a lot of mistakes or whatever. And when I'm going through a home inspection and I'm calling out defects, okay, you not doing it well, I'm not just talking about you screwing up a piece of trim, okay? I'm talking about
blatant
non-professional construction, evidence that there's no building permits pulled, like for whether if it's like a deck,
Yep.
if you don't build your deck to code or basic safety standards, you take a bunch of people out on there. Next thing you know,
like 80 people in Madison going on a pier.
Gosh, that was crazy. Did you see some of the pictures? I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh. It can be all kinds of stuff, but ultimately, when you're doing that kind of stuff, it's going to cost somebody a bunch of money to fix or correct what you're doing wrong. And in most cases, it's going to be you. You think you're saving $1, right? But you're actually spending $30,000. You know what I mean? Because it just doesn't work out that way. So if you're going to do it yourself, educate yourself, get building permits. The building permit process, and in some cases, like some municipalities, they want you to get a building permit to put a garbage disposal in.
Yeah.
They just want $35 from you for that.
Let's be real.
Yeah, let's be real. But there are other times when it comes to building your deck, doing your electrical, other type of things. These are your protection to make sure that you're not going to have a problem. Make sure that it's not going to be an issue.
I remember when we got a new dishwasher and purchased it from a local retailer, and they wanted us to pull a permit for used to use a switch on the wall to turn on off the dishwasher, and now it's an outlet underneath the sink, and the inspector wanted to come and see it.
At least he's going to make sure it's wired properly,
Yeah.
and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
And it's a level of protection. And yes, it cost you $30 or whatever it was, or whatever. But it's kind of a pain waiting for the dude and having the appointment and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
But it's going to make sure that you're not going to have an electrical issue or electrical problem, where if you do it on your own, you're kind of rolling the dice sometimes, So make sure you're properly educated. Make sure you know what you're doing. Make sure you get a building permit. Have that level of security. Plus, also, when you go to sell your house, guess what? That's going to
People ask these questions.
Yeah, people ask these questions. They'll go to the municipality, and anybody can find out what building permits have been pulled for your home. It's public knowledge. It is not required that they get your permission to look up if building permits are pulled for things or evidence or things at your house. So if you have a whole finished basement and people are touring your home, bet you dollars to donuts, one of those 52 people are going to go to that municipality, and they're going to ask for if there was any building permits pulled for this property. And they're going to know that you didn't do the plumbing properly, you didn't do electrical properly, you probably didn't do the framing properly.
A lot of liability there.
Yeah, and
you don't disclose that in the condition report, and you go to closing and they don't ask for an inspection. Now you got a big can of worms on your hands.
Yeah, you got a big problem. Yeah, and then from the building permit perspective, usually what they'll let you do is get post permits, But then they usually are a fine associated with, like, they'll say 3 times the original permit fee, as long as we can see what we need to see. If we can't, they can, and if you're
open up the wall.
Yeah, if you're not nice to them, they're gonna say, "Hey, open it up, take it apart. I got to be able to see what you did," And you're like,
yeah,
your heart just drops. You know what I mean? And it's just you stop yourself from having these types of problems. And in most cases, going down to get the building permit, they're not asking for a ton of stuff. They just want to know what your basic plan is. You could sketch it up on a piece of notepaper. They don't care.
Yeah.
They want to know, hey, you want 5 outlets here, and you're putting in this appliance, whatever that may be. So just work with them and do it the right way. Get yourself educated. The 16-year-old kid at Home Depot, God bless you for working at Home Depot and working and having a job and making some money. But you can't trust their advice, okay? They're looking at the products or whatever, and you'll go to the Home Depot. Oh, yeah, these flexi drains, they work great. You can put them wherever you want.
Yep.
But you shouldn't be using that in your house, okay? So the 16-year-old kid, great for some things, not great for other things, and really trust the experts when you're trying to educate yourself. So
absolutely.
That's our defect of the week. So non-professional construction work or non-professional work in your home can cost you lots of money and cause you a lot of headaches. So try to avoid it whenever possible. If you're going to do it, if you're going to do work in your home, you need to always do it to a professional manner, to professional standards is what they're looking for. All right. Hey, thanks for tuning in today, you guys. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. If you want to know when we put out the next one, give me a bell notification. It's a little bell on the bottom right-hand side. And subscribe. You want to know when I'm coming out with new stuff or whatever. You want to be able to check us out and be alerted to new video content coming your way. Subscribe button's really the way to go. Thanks again for tuning in, you guys. Remember, the better you take care of your house, better it's going to take care of you. Have a good one.